How's it going, my peeps? It is now time for the Elimination Chamber 2013 results / highlights and review video. I'll go over the result of the show and give you guys my thoughts, my review on the overall show. So it all kicks off, obviously, with the pre-show. They promote the matches a bit, hype up the matches, and then you have an interview with Randy Orton, where Josh Matthews, interviews Randy, and pretty much what Randy says, to sum it up, he says he's going to show the world tonight how dangerous Randy Orton can be. And then we have the pre-show match. It's Brodus Clay and Tensai versus Damien, Sandow, and Cody Rhodes. Before the match, when Damien and Cody come out, they get on the microphone and say that the world, on Twitter and all sorts of social medias and electronic means of communications, said they wanted a reunion of Team Rhodes Scholars, so they've given it to them. All they ask, or all they demand, is a round of applause, but the crowd boos. But actually, some people applause. And when it comes to the match ended when Brodus Clay and Tensai both hit a double body splash on Cody Rhodes, and then Brodus Clay pinned him for the victory, so team, whatever they're called, Brodus Clay and Tensai, win the matchup, and afterwards they dance. And then to kick off the actual show, the first match was Del Rio versus Big Show for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was a pretty decent match. In the end of the match, Big Show was distracted by Ricardo, so he just kicked him away. Ricardo was on the apron, Big Show kicked him away, and then he grabbed, that bucket that Ricardo always brings to the ring. So he grabs that bucket, and it looked like he was about to throw it on Ricardo, so he had it right next to his head. Big Show had it right next to his head. So then Del Rio gets up, and he goes for the enziguri, trying to hit that enziguri, trying to basically kick that bucket into Big Show's head, but he misses the first time and doesn't hit the bucket. So Big Show doesn't sell it, and Del Rio tries it once again, but this time it hits the bucket, which hits the Big Show's head, and then he hits another enziguri on Big Show in the corner, and then locks on the cross armbreaker, and after a couple seconds or something like that, actually it took a decent while, Big Show tapped out. So Del Rio wins the matchup and remains the World Heavyweight Champion. Dolph Ziggler did not cash in his briefcase or anything like that. And then after that, they had the United States Championship match, Antonio Cesaro versus The Miz, and I didn't like the way this match ended. It ended in disqualification. The Miz was about to lock on the figure 4, but Antonio Cesaro kicked The Miz's knee, one of his knees, and then The Miz falls knee first onto Antonio Cesaro's crotch. So then the referee calls it a disqualification, and Antonio Cesaro retains the championship. And as far as the match goes, it was meh, not that, nothing really great. And then there was a backstage segment with Kane and Daniel Bryan where Daniel Bryan was telling Kane, "Are you still giving me the silent treatment? And if he's still mad at the Royal Rumble, blah, blah, blah." And Kane, Daniel Bryan tells Kane, you know what, tonight, let's help each other out. You have my back, I have your back. Kane agrees. Well, he hugs him, and then he says, okay, you have my back, and I'll have my back, and then he leaves. And then the Elimination Chamber match. Jack Swagger comes out first, cuts a promo with Zeb Culture, saying that they're going to win the Chamber. So he goes in one of the chambers, and then also Kane goes into a chamber, Randy goes into the chamber, and Henry goes into the chamber. So the two guys that start the matchup are Chris Jericho and Daniel Bryan. And there was absolutely no eliminations until Mark Henry came out. Actually, the match was, to be quite honest, I didn't really enjoy the match that much until Mark Henry came out. Before Mark Henry came out, or came out of the pod, wasn't really that enjoyable. But once he came out, he started freaking destroying everybody. Right away, freaking hits the World's Strongest Slam on Daniel Bryan, pins him, eliminates him, and then he actually grabs Randy Orton and freaking throws him through one of the pods. So Randy's kind of knocked out for a while there. And then Kane goes for the top rope clothesline, and Mark Henry catches him, hits the World's Strongest Slam, and eliminates Kane. So he eliminated both members of Team Hell No. And then Jericho and Swagger, they freaking hit a double suplex on Mark Henry on the outside, which was pretty cool. And you know what? In the end, Mark Henry got eliminated. Well, not in the end, but once he got up from that double suplex, at some point Swagger hit him with a big boot. Jericho hit him with a code breaker. Randy hit him with an RKO, went for the cover, and eliminated Mark Henry. So, yeah, I guess Mark Henry doesn't win the Chamber. And then, after Henry was eliminated, he decided to go back in and hit the World's Strongest Slam on Jericho, Randy, and Swagger, basically all the guys that were left. And then Booker and Teddy Long and a bunch of referees told him to, get out of the Chamber since he was eliminated. And then the match we had with just Swagger, Randy, and Jericho was pretty freaking entertaining. You had some cool moves, some cool counters, counting, finishers left and right. I think at some point, well, the first one eliminated was Jericho, actually. Jericho went for the, Randy went for the RKO on Jericho, and Jericho countered that, hit the Lion Salt, but, no, actually, Randy countered the Lion Salt and then hit the RKO, so Jericho counters the RKO, Randy counters the Lion Salt, and capitalizes on that with an RKO, covers Jericho, gets the victory right away. Swagger rolls up Randy, gets a 1-2-3, wins the Elimination Chamber, so he's the number one contender to Del Rio's championship. So, my initial prediction was right. When I initially predicted Del Rio versus Jack Swagger, I was freaking right. Should have never changed my mind, because afterwards, changed my mind and said I was predicting Mark Henry to win. So yeah, I was right initially, but then I made a wrong decision by predicting Mark Henry would win. But freaking Mark Henry was like the MVP of the match. He really made that match, good. I enjoyed the match because of Mark Henry. And then came time for the 6-man tag team match. John Cena, Ryback, Sheamus versus The Shield. The match was actually good. I liked the match. And towards the end, Roman Reigns spears Sheamus through the barricade just like he did to Kane at TLC. And then in the ring, you had John Cena hitting the Attitude Adjustment. Well, he had him up. You had Dean Ambrose for the Attitude Adjustment, while Ryback had Seth Rollins up for the Shell Shock. John Cena hits the Attitude Adjustment, but before Ryback hits the Shell Shock on Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns goes back in the ring, spears Ryback, so Seth Rollins lands onto Ryback, pins him, 1, 2, 3, and the Shield actually win the matchup. So that was I was happy about that. I was happy the Shield won, and it was definitely unexpected. I was expecting Ryback, Sheamus, and Cena to win, since it was like a super hero or whatever, super freaking assembly of superstars or whatever. But yeah, Shield won, so I'm happy about that. Looks like the Shield is undefeated so far. And then, after the match, Ryback is upset, so he leaves the ring while Sheamus and John Cena are in the ring. And then Dolph Ziggler comes out, and he starts complaining that he's not booked, and he makes a comment about Jack Swagger, that, Jack Swagger might think that you're guaranteed a world title shot, but you're actually not. This guarantees a world title shot, and then he shows his Money in the Bank briefcase. Booker T then comes out, says, stealing the show is not the same as wasting everybody's time. He says, I know you think this of yourself, and that, you're like the most athletic guy in the WWE, or you could do stuff that people can't do. But then Booker T says, I know somebody that can do everything you can do, and a little more. And then he introduces Kofi Kingston. I was actually expecting John Morrison or something. Well, actually, I was expecting Kofi Kingston or John Morrison, but I was hoping for John Morrison, just for the return, for a surprise. But yeah, Kofi Kingston comes out to actually a good pop, a big pop. And I actually thought Kofi was going to win the match when he hit Trouble in Paradise on Dolph Ziggler, but Big E pulled Dolph Ziggler out of the ring, so then Kofi Kingston freaking springboards from, inside the ring to the outside onto Big E, which was a pretty cool move. But in the end, Dolph Ziggler wins by hitting the zigzag on Kofi Kingston. And after the match, Big E just destroys Kofi Kingston and hits his finisher on him. And actually, I think the crowd was chanting one more time. So, yeah. Anyways, afterwards, you had Brodus Clay backstage with Cameron and Naomi pretty much promoting the new action figures that wrestle. And then Tensai comes up to them, and Brodus Clay calls him Sweet Tea. Tensai tells him, please don't call me that again. And then he asks Tensai, or I don't know if it was Cameron, Naomi, or Brodus Clay, but one of them asks Tensai, what's the writing on Tensai's head? Tensai's face, And he says it's some Japanese writing, whatever, but with his luck, it's probably some sushi menu. Anyways, it's pretty much a comedy segment, and, afterwards he starts dancing with them to Brodus Clay's theme song. And then you have Tamina versus Kaitlyn. Anyways, towards the end of the match, Tamina goes for her finisher, the top rope body splash. But Kaitlyn gets out of the way, hits the spear, covers Tamina, and wins the match. So she retains the title. And then you have the main event, CM Punk versus The Rock. CM Punk comes out first with the championship, and he tells Justin Roberts to introduce him out as the People's Champion, CM Punk. And then The Rock comes out, and they have the match up. And like in the beginning, you had CM Punk trying to get, The Rock disqualified, since if he does get disqualified, then he loses the title and CM Punk is the new champion. So what he did first was slap The Rock, which angered The Rock, but he didn't get himself disqualified, although he did get close to it. And then afterwards, he also spat in The Rock's face, which also angered The Rock, so he was attacking CM Punk in the corner, almost breaking the 5 count, but he didn't. Anyways, most of the matchup, CM Punk was dominating, putting The Rock in sleeper holds, clotheslining him, hitting the elbow, and stuff like that. So it was mostly dominated by CM Punk. He actually hit the rock bottom. They went to the outside, and CM Punk hit the rock bottom on the announcer's table. And what's funny is, last time at the Rumble, when The Rock went for the rock bottom, the announcer's table broke even before he actually connected with the move. And this time, CM Punk went for the rock bottom, but the announcer's table didn't even break. So, yeah, it was a fail. But anyways, he still hits the rock bottom on The Rock at least. He then went inside the ring and was hoping for The Rock to get counted out, but The Rock goes in at the count of 9. The Rock also hit a rock bottom on CM Punk. CM Punk kicked out, and he also hit the People's Elbow, and CM Punk kicked out of that too. So he kicked out of more finishers than last time. And towards the end of the match, you had the referee getting taken out. I think The Rock was the one to bump into him, and then CM Punk hits the GTS, so he actually hit his finisher on this in this match. Goes for the cover, but obviously no referee. They're checking on the referee outside, and he's down. I think it was Earl Hebner. And then another referee comes out, so CM Punk grabs The Rock again. He's about to hit another GTS, but The Rock escapes, hits the spinebuster, followed by the People's Elbow, and CM Punk kicks out. That's where, CM Punk kicked out of the People's Elbow. And then fast forward a little bit, the other referee hurts his ankle or his leg or whatever, and so because of that, CM Punk decides to take advantage, grabs the WWE Championship, or tells Paul Heyman actually to grab it for him, and then Paul Heyman, grabs hold of The Rock, so CM Punk can hit him with the championship. So CM Punk charges at The Rock gets out of the way, CM Punk hits Paul Heyman with the championship, and then he turns around, Rock hits CM Punk with the rock bottom, goes for the cover, and wins the matchup. And that is pretty much it. Rock celebrates, and they actually announced that with this victory, The Rock will be going on to WrestleMania to face off against John Cena for the WWE Championship. So what did I think about the overall show? Any highlights? Really, the highlights for me are all inside the Elimination Chamber. Just when Mark Henry came out, there were so many cool moments. Him freaking throwing Randy through the pod, double suplex to Mark Henry, and the freaking countering of finishers towards the end when it was just down to Jack Swagger, Randy, and Chris Jericho. You had some cool moves in there. Orton hitting a double DDT on both Swagger and Jericho, the second freaking in between the second ropes, or in between the first and second rope. And Jericho countering the RKO into a lion salt, and then Orton countering that into an RKO, as well as Swagger having Randy in the ankle lock, Jericho interrupting that with an enziguri to Jack Swagger, and you also saw Jericho locking on the walls of Jericho on Swagger, and while he did that, Randy hit his signature backbreaker on Jericho. There was a bunch of cool moves in there, so it was a nice match, and I did enjoy Mark Henry, just beating everybody up. So anyways, as far as the overall show, if I have to give it a rating, I would give it a 6 maybe on 10. I really enjoyed the Elimination Chamber, and I did enjoy the Shields winning their matchup, but it was a good match too. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, you can click that like button. I'd really appreciate it, really helps me out. And in the comment section, I'd like to hear what you guys thought about the show. Did you like the show? Did you not like it? What was your favorite matchup? Tell me in the comment section below. With that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.